Hey, my YouTube friends, this is Professor Walker, and gosh darn it, this is a video that didn't necessarily want to make, but I thought should be made. And it's about the Pipe Cottage and Alan Harrison, who is the Pipe Cottage. He's the YouTuber and guy who is running this. When the Pipe Cottage was first launched, I was a subscriber right away. And full confession is I don't watch a whole lot of pure pipe smoking content. I did when I first started pipe smoking, but then it kind of felt to me like, for me to watch a video, because I do have other interests, whether it's history or history. I love to watch history videos on YouTube. It's one of the things while I'm making a pipe, I really enjoy having a history YouTube video, something in the background, and just have an earbud in and listen to it while I'm working. And so the Pipe Cottage appealed to me because I liked not only his manner, his way of speaking. There was a lot of good production quality in his videos, and I guess I would say they held my interest, and I could watch his videos pretty much all the way through. But there was one thing that I found a little off-putting from the beginning, was the accent. It didn't seem really natural to me, and I know that, and that's why it didn't stop me from watching or making comments or anything on a video, because that's a pretty petty thing, right? I don't like your accent, and because it just seemed just not fake, not genuine to me. And I'm by no means an expert on Southern accents. I was born in Mississippi, but never really lived there. I grew up in Kansas, which doesn't exactly have, a Southern accent or any, there's Midwestern little isms throughout when you go from Kansas, Nebraska, Iowa, Minnesota, and there's some manner of speech, but not really like a Southern accent. But having lived my life now in different places, been in the military, served with different people, being on social media, interacted with a lot of people, his accent seems out of place. It seems like something from a movie on the Civil War or something. And that gets into where I started to have a problem with the Pipe Cottage. And the first one was, I saw a post on Instagram with a Confederate flag, and it was praising this flag and talking about how much he loved this flag. And I understand and I get the idea, that people would say heritage, not hate, Southern pride. I understand those ideas and that concept as a truck goes by. But I think the reality is, and the people that profess that, you need to be honest with yourself, because the battle flag of Virginia is not a symbol that is associated with peaceful integration after the end of the Civil War. No, the Confederate battle flag that we know, associated with things like the Dukes of Hazzard, the General Lee, the band Leonard Skinner, Alabama, and in all those contexts, it really doesn't have any sort of bad connotation in my view. But what was that flag used for a lot? I said I grew up in Kansas. People that lived in Kansas during the era I did, through the 70s and 80s, we know the vestiges and the remnants of the Ku Klux Klan still existed. Yes, in Kansas, a northern state, a state that was not part of the Confederacy, the Klan was active. There were Klansmen that actually created a school district in the Topeka area where I grew up because they wanted a school with only the white kids. So my view on the Confederacy and the Confederate flag is that it is from a bygone era, an era that should not be celebrated. It should not be glorified because an atrocious moral sin of slavery is embedded in the Confederacy, and there's nothing that can be done or said to alleviate that. And if you want to hang on to a Confederate flag and you want to hang on to that, you know what? It is America and you can do what you want, but you have to understand right away you're alienating a lot of people, because no matter what you think or what you say that image means to you, it is not what it means to the vast majority of people. The vast majority of people are going to look at that Confederate flag and they're not necessarily going to think you're a Klansman, but they're going to think you have sympathies towards that. That's reality. And I don't care. You say whatever you want in the comments. The reality is that is the camp you are being put in. The next is on Instagram. I saw praise of Jefferson Davis. And then, there's some videos too talking about what a great American leader Jefferson Davis was, who was the president of the Confederacy. I brought Ronnie out because Ronnie is a great American leader. A man who stood up for liberty and freedom for everyone in this country. Not Jefferson Davis. Jefferson Davis was trying to uphold the institution of slavery. He was trying to maintain that status quo and to have slavery forever. That is not someone to be admired or celebrated. There's no justification for that. And so like during this period, this is when I stopped following the Pipe Cottage, because I'm like, I can't follow someone who's a neo-Confederate, which that's what this is. He is a neo-Confederate. Someone that glorifies the Confederate flag, glorifies Jefferson Davis, and in my view is hiding it under this down-home, folksy bullshit. Then I saw the clip of what he said about a YouTube troll. Now, there's a YouTube troll out there who we won't name, and if people want to go look him up, find him, whatever. And the YouTube troll guy, that guy, as far as I'm concerned, can F off. I think he's an a-hole. And so if you want to troll me or whatever, troll, fine. Because you can disagree with whoever this is. You can disagree with the Pipe Cottage and criticize them, but there are people that are just a-holes, and this guy's an a-hole. But the video on a live stream that Alan did where he threw something that you can't even repeat, and I'm going to play the video here in a second. It's something you're going to have to bleep out or YouTube will probably take the video down, right? So here it is.
Good. You don't need to hear of him. I call him Stamper Fudge Tamper because he's obviously a faggot from Canada. And so, yeah, that's my nickname for him, Stamper Fudge Tamper. I like that.
Okay, I'm not going to pretend that a lot of us at some point in our life might have even said something like this. We were in junior high, we're in high school, especially for those of us my generation and older. Yeah, we said things that were highly inappropriate, wrong, and I'm going to take a sip right now out of my nice mug. I wish I could say it was an adult beverage, but it's Crystal Light. All of us have said things at some point in our life that were inappropriate, and if that was played today, it would be embarrassing to us. But there's a difference. if you are a 37-year-old, 40-year-old, 50-year-old man, we should have matured out of those things. And yeah, maybe if we are somebody who has a traditional Christian mindset, we are going to have a views that are different than what the rest of the culture is pushing. And the people that are pushing would like to eradicate Christianity as a culture. And I get that and I understand that. But we are not being persuasive. We are not moving the needle. You are not going to win hearts and minds over to a conservative worldview by throwing vulgar insults at people that are gay or whatever. That's not a winning strategy, and it is childish and immature. Now, I am well aware that by putting this out there, there are probably many of you, maybe even people that have followed me since the very beginning of my channel, that might disagree with me, be angry with me, unfollow, unlike, all of that. That is fine. Because honestly, I believe sincerely, I would rather not be a part of a YouTube pipe community, if there is such a thing, that props up an Alan Harrison. Because I cannot in any way get behind or support anyone who's a neo-Confederate, someone who idolizes and glorifies an era of brutality in this country. An era where it wasn't this Southern agrarianism where we're living this idyllic life. No, it was a period of men treating other men in a horrific manner. And that era needs to be gone and not glorified. And secondly, I don't need to share or be part of a group or with people. You don't have to follow me or like me. We can go our separate ways if you think it's okay to call people slurs, no matter what it is. Ethnic slurs, racial slurs, sexuality slurs, all of that has no place in our culture. It has no place in our community. And as a grown adult, you should be more mature and not do those things. Counterpoint, though, is I'm not always the most mature man. I'm not. I say things that I shouldn't say. We all do say things that maybe we shouldn't. But there are lines. There are lines to cross. And I think the Pipe Cottage and Alan Harrison have crossed those lines. And I, again, personally want no part of it. But again, it's America. Anyone can choose to follow and be a part of whatever they want to be, no matter whether I think it's wrong or someone else thinks it's wrong. But I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that Ron wouldn't back this. All right, so that's it. Probably see my subscriber count drop a little bit, but that's okay. It's life in the city, because does it really matter? No, it doesn't. Keep smoking. Take you later.